In the heart of a small village, nestled among the rolling hills of the African savanna, there lived a girl named Nerea. She was blessed with beauty that matched the sunrise and a spirit as free as the wind. But despite her captivating appearance, there was one thing about Nerea that set apart from the other girls in the village, a peculiar and persistent body odor that seemed to cling on her like a shadow. From a young age, Nerea was aware of her unusual scent. No matter how diligently she washed and perfumed herself, the smell remained, faint yet unmistakable. Her mother tried various remedies, from fragrant herbs to aromatic oils, but nothing could banish the odor that emanated from Nerea's skin. As she grew older, Nerea's scent became a source of gossip and ridicule among the villagers. They whispered behind her back, their words carrying on the wind like a cruel echo. Mothers warned their daughters to stay away from her, fearing that her foul smell was contagious. Even Nerea's own family could not escape the whispers and stares of their neighbors. Despite the distant scrutiny and judgment, Nerea remained resilient. She refused to let the opinion of others define her worth or dictate her destiny. But as she blossomed into womanhood, her scent became a barrier to finding love and acceptance. When a young man from a neighboring village came seeking a bride, Nerea's family saw an opportunity to secure her future. They arranged for her to marry him, hoping that his love would be enough to overlook her unfortunate affliction. But on the eve of their wedding day, tragedy struck. As Nerea stood before her groom, her heart filled with hope and fear, he recoiled at the scent that clung on her skin. In front of their families and friends, he declared that he could not marry a woman whose odor was so repulsive. With the tears streaming down her cheeks, Nerea fled from the village. Her dreams of love and happiness shattered like fragile glass. In the days that followed, the whispers grew louder, fueled by the scandal of Nerea's failed marriage. Villagers shook their head in pity, casting judgment upon her like stones in a river. Her own in-laws spoke of her in hushed tones, blaming her for the disgrace that had befallen their family. Desperate to rid herself of the curse that had cost her everything, Nerea sought out remedies far and wide. She visited witch doctors who promised to cleanse her body and soul of the foul odor that plagued her. She drank bitter potions and endured painful rituals, hoping against hope for a miracle that never came. But no matter how hard she tried, Nerea could not escape the stigma that followed her like a shadow. She watched as her friends married and started families of their own, their happiness a painful reminder of everything she had lost. Each rejection cut deeper than the last, until Nerea began to lose hope that she would ever find love or acceptance. In the depths of despair, Nerea made a decision that would change the course of her life forever. She returned to her village, her head held high and her spirit unbroken, with determination burning in her heart. She faced the whispers and judgment head on, refusing to be defined by the limitations others placed on her. Years passed, and Nerea's despair turned to resignation as she watched her youth slip away like grains of sand through her fingers. Desperate to find love and acceptance, Nerea's family arranged for her to marry a young man named Kofi. He was kind-hearted and gentle, with eyes that sparkled like the stars in the night sky. They lived well and tilled the land. Kofi had decided to settle down with Nerea despite villagers' gossip. For a fleeting moment, Nerea dared to believe that her dreams of love might finally come true. And then, one fateful day, she gave birth to a daughter, a beautiful girl, with her mother's dark eyes and her father's laughter. But as soon as the child took her first breath, Nerea knew that history was doomed to repeat itself. For despite her newborn daughter's innocence, the scent that had haunted Nerea for so long now clung to her like a curse. As the years went by, the villagers whispered and pointed, their words carrying on the wind like a cruel echo. And though Nerea tried to shield her daughter from their judgment, she knew that she could not protect her from the truth. Desperate to spare her daughter from the same fate that had befallen her, Nerea redoubled her efforts to find a cure. She traveled to distant lands and consulted with healers and mystics, searching for answers that always seemed just out of reach. But no matter how hard she tried, the curse remained, a burden that she could never shake. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Kofi's tolerance for Nerea's scent began to wane. He endured it in silence, masking his discomfort with forced smiles and strained laughter. Yet, despite his best efforts, the distance between them grew like a chasm, threatening to swallow their love whole. At first, Nerea refused to believe that her scent was the cause of their happiness. She clung to the hope that love could conquer all, that Kofi's affection for her would outweigh any discomfort he might feel. But as his affection waned and his distance grew, she could no longer deny the truth. Heartbroken and defeated, Nerea watched as the man she loved slipped through her fingers like grains of sand. She begged for him to stay, to give their love one last chance. But his resolve was unwavering. In the end, he could no longer endure the scent that clung to her like a curse, and he left her behind, his footsteps echoing in the silence of their crumbling home. In the end, Nerea's marriage crumbled beneath the weight of her despair. Her love for Kofi overshadowed by the shame of her difference. And though she had hoped that her daughter would escape the same fate, she watched helplessly as history repeated itself, the cycle of rejection perpetuating across generations. Alone and broken, Nerea faced a future that seemed bleak and uncertain. The whispers of the villagers grew louder, their judgment like a poison that seeped into her soul. Even her own family began to distance themselves, their disappointment a tangible presence that hung heavy in the air. But amidst the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope, a tiny spark that refused to be extinguished. For in the depths of her despair, Nerea discovered a strength that she never knew she possessed. She refused to be defined by the limitations others placed upon her, choosing instead to embrace her uniqueness with unwavering pride. As she stood on the cliff of a new beginning, Nerea made a solemn vow to never again allow her scent to define her worth or dictate her destiny. And though the road ahead would be long and hard, she faced it with a courage and determination that burned bright as the African sun. For Nerea had learned that true beauty lies not in the outward appearance, but in the strength to embrace one's uniqueness without shame or apology. And as she set out to carve her own path in the world, she did so with her head held high and her heart ablaze in the fire of 1,000 suns. And that is the end of my story today. Kindly leave a comment of where you are watching from and what you have learned from my story. See you on my next one. Thank you. Bye.